Good morning. Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Greater Naples. It is so great to be among such a wonderful and communicative congregation. My name is Tony Fisher. I am just so grateful to serve this congregation and closing out with sort of a partial service next week, my 9th year at UUCGN, and looking forward to more to come. So I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful for your presence this morning. Thank you for all of you here in the sanctuary. Thanks for everybody that choose to sit out there on the pavilion and enjoy the weather. And all of you that are joining online as well, welcome into our service this morning. And though I stand here going solo this morning, I want to express my deep gratitude for our worship associates who accompany me on just about every other Sunday here up front, who add such richness to our worship program by providing their voices, their reflections, their ideas. Thanks to Joanne Husky and Janet Hoffman, our co-chairs, as well as Catherine Costello, Patty Bryan, Michael Finkel, Kathy Summers, Lena Neal, and Ed Ostrom. Thank them all, thank you all for welcoming them to the front of our sanctuary and their gifts. And on behalf of that team, welcome here into the sanctuary. We're grateful for your presence. This is a place where we learn to grow together in spirit and in mind. Our mission statement says that we are a welcoming congregation, freely seeking intellectual and spiritual growth, that we strive to create a larger community of peace, justice, and love. And we do this by connecting every Sunday and every day of the week with one another through our programs of education and caring, and through all the other ways that we connect. If you are new to this congregation and found us for the first time, wherever you might be, either online or here, please know that we are here to welcome you and to find ways that you can fit into this congregation. There are so many opportunities here to learn and to grow and to participate. So we hope if you haven't already connected with somebody that you'll speak to someone next to you or come up and talk to me after the service. I would be grateful to meet you. So now let's take a deep breath and settle ourselves into this time of worship with this morning's prelude.
Voices are calling round the earth. Music is rising in the sea. The spirit of morning fills the air, guiding my journey home. Here is a path beyond the forest. Here is the song I always knew. I remember it just around the bend. In the music, the village never ends. In a circle of friends, in a circle of sound, all our voices will blend when we touch common ground. Somewhere is the melody we need. There is a certain harmony, even a rhythm in the trees, in the song that we've always known. As every road comes to its end, so every path must cross again. Now I'm returning to my heart, to the song that is our own. In a circle of friends, in a circle of sound, all our voices will blend when we touch common ground. Voices are calling round the earth. Music is rising in the sea. The spirit of morning fills the air, guiding my journey home. Here is the path beyond the forest. Here is the song I always knew. I remember it just around the bend. In the music, the village never ends. In a circle of friends, in a circle of sound, all our voices will blend when we touch common ground. Common ground.
We come to love a community, the traditions, the history, and especially the people associated with it. And through these people, young and old, known and unknown, we reach out, both backward into history and forward into the future, to link together the generations in this imperfect but blessed community of memory and hope. Please join me in the chalice lighting words that you'll see on the screen or on your order of service. In the light of truth, the warmth of community, and the fire of commitment, we gather this day. May the flame we now kindle be to us a symbol of the unity we seek. And let's rise as you are willing and able and join in singing our opening hymn, number 147 and 147 in the gray hymnal, Gather the Spirit. 347.
Close enough.
Something.
Gather the Spirit, harvest the power. Our separate fires will kindle one flame. Witness the mystery of this hour. Our tribes in this light appear all the same. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then. Gather in hope, compassion and strength. Gather to celebrate once again. Gather the spirit of heart and mind. Seeds for the sowing are laid in storm. Nurtured in love and conscience refined. With body and spirit united once more. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then. Gather in hope, compassion and strength. Gather to celebrate once again. Gather the Spirit growing in own, drawn by the moon and fed by the sun. Winter to spring and summer to fall. The chorus of life resounding as one. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then. Gather in hope, compassion and strength. Gather to celebrate once again.
Please be seated. This framed charter, signed by the 46 founding members of this organization, hangs every day in the foyer out there. I urge you to take a look at it. There are a few names here that some in the sanctuary this morning might remember fondly. Bernie and Rita Turner, who started it all with a classified ad in a newspaper. Aileen Crawford, the first president of our congregation. Helena and Ray Thomas, for whom Thomas Hall is named, down at the end of the hall. Bruce and Harlene Richardson, who were so dedicated to the development of our buildings and our gardens from the time this congregation landed here on this land. Looking back, I think we can say that that first generation, mostly gone, but not completely, did a fabulous job of getting things started, passing on their love and enthusiasm for the work to the next generation, who have in turn contributed their time and talent and their treasure and their hearts, the fruits of which we continue to enjoy today. This document is a charter for a fellowship. Now, the name fellowship has a particular meaning in Unitarian Universalist circles. During the 1950s, 60s, and 70s, our denomination was expanding rapidly, and close to 1/3 of the people who swelled our ranks during that time came through the doors of newly organized fellowships like this one, and they were provided with some seed money by the Unitarian Universalist Association to get things going. The idea around fellowships that differed from churches or congregations is that they were small and designed to stay that way. So to promote a greater intimacy, a greater informality, and directness among its members. Fellowships were lay-led and do-it-yourself affairs, which offered more identification within the group while demanding more personal involvement and a greater sense of responsibility for the community's operation. The idea was that fellowships could be more experiential and less institutional. Sometimes it worked, and sometimes it didn't. At its founding in the mid-70s, this community was part of that movement, and there were many then who wanted to keep that fellowship model going, wanted to keep things small. They weren't excited, for example, about the idea of hiring a minister, believing a small lay-led fellowship with a modicum of professional guidance would be the way to go, especially here in Naples. Communities like this one, however, open to welcoming new people and new ideas all the time, tend to have a life of their own. Within just a few years, in the late 1970s, this plot of land, actually 2 plots, had been identified and purchased by members of the founding group, and soon there were plans to build a do-it-yourself structure to house the congregation. The domes, if you've ever heard that term, a pair of prefabricated geodesic domes were erected right over here in 1981 by members of that congregation, and things were already starting to get a little bit bigger than originally planned. The hiring of the Reverend Jay Abernathy in 1986 marked another step towards something different. Still remembered fondly, Jay, who visited here earlier this year, served this congregation for 13 years, from the early years of the domes to the construction of the building we enjoy today. And during that time, he and the membership continued to navigate the ongoing tension between staying small and accommodating a natural growth in attendance that had corresponded with growth both in the local population and within Unitarian Universalism in general during that time. Somewhere, and even in my search at least, somewhere in the mid-90s, some of you might have been here, the congregation was advancing toward 200 members, and the community, by then chartered as a congregation, made an intentional decision to strive for growth, envisioning an organization of about 350 members and engaging in a capital campaign and a building project to accommodate that potential. Part of that decision-making was the realization that after 15 years, the domes were not going to be part of the congregation's future. Old newsletters articles make it clear that while they had a lot of personality, the domes leaked and the air conditioning was minimal. Not a great thing for Southwest Florida. But there was also an energy within the congregation and a belief that something good was happening, something worth sharing. This building, from here down to the offices, was the result of that vision. And so 25 years ago, Al Bauer, then president of this congregation, stood right here before members and friends and guests of the congregation and led a litany of dedication in presenting this new building for their use. The congregation, in turn, accepted the building as a physical expression of their values and their hopes and pledged to turn around and provide the Naples community with a vital and effective voice for free religion. Bauer then said, "We are challenged by the community and by the times to carry the proud heritage of our movement to a growing population in a turning century." To which the congregation responded with these lines: "Together we shall promote peace and justice, provide for the religious education of our children, nurture the human spirit through good times and bad, all the while maintaining the friendly community of all souls." 10 years after this dedication, the congregation solidified its intention to support religious education by engaging in another building project, adding the religious education wing from the offices down to our campus. It wasn't always easy, and no one has ever claimed perfection, and there have certainly been blips along the way, but the journey of this congregation from 1975 to now has been remarkably steady. And we can thank those who have started things and done the work day after day, year after year, for this happy and healthy congregation. The philosopher John Dewey once wrote that the things in civilization we most prize are not of ourselves. They exist by the grace of the doings and sufferings of the continuous human community in which we are a link. Ours is the responsibility of conserving, transmitting, rectifying, and expanding the heritage of values we have received, that those who come after us may receive it more solid and more secure, more widely accessible and more generously shared than we have received it. Let us hope in this time, in our turn, that we can keep it going and growing. Please join me in singing our centering hymn, "From All the Fret and Fever of the Day." It's number 90 in the Great Hymnal. The words will also be on the screen.
From all the fret and fever of the day, let there be moments when we turn away, and deaf to all confusing outer din, intently listen for the voice within. In quietness and solitude we find the soundless wisdom of the deeper mind. With clear, harmonious purpose, let us then bring richer meaning to the world again.
Now is the time in our service where we have the opportunity to share in community those things that occupy our lives, the joys, the sorrows, the concerns. Not a time for announcements. This is a time for us to share deeply of one another. So if you have something that you'd like to share this morning, I urge you to raise your hand. I'll bring you the microphone and tell us what's in your heart.
I'm Frank Bergeson, and our sorrow is the recent passing of Ann's brother John at Des Moines, Iowa. They were quite close. He had a heart condition that we thought was under reasonable good control, so it was somewhat unexpected. And we'll go to Des Moines for a memorial service later in the month.
Our thoughts are with you and with Anne. Thank you for sharing that.
I'm Fiora Massey, and I'm supposed to be in Colorado, but that changed drastically very quickly. My husband was taken to the hospital, and now he's in Teresina in memory care, and I'm staying here, thank God. So it's filled with joy and sorrow. He is making an adjustment. Well, we all are. And I'm very grateful to my family who are coming down pretty much every other week to help me along this difficult path, and also friends here in the church. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Fiora. Anyone?
In the community.
Good morning. My name is George Donenville, and I have a big joy. I got one of these. And I want to thank you all for your warm welcome and sincere appreciation on my part. I also have to thank all of this to my lovely wife, Susan. Otherwise, I'd be home on the couch watching some nonsense on television. So thank you for taking me away from the nonsense.
Thank you so much. Anyone else? As we consider those joys, and especially those sorrows, let us remember that within this room there are many more unexpressed feelings. And please know in your silence that this community is with you, whether you speak your concerns or hold them close. Please join me in the spirit of meditation. Spirit of life and love, we pause to rest in the stillness of this moment, to quiet ourselves so that we can feel what stirs within. With each in-breath, let us draw closer to the pulse of life. And with each exhalation, make room for something new. In this gathering, may we find the comfort of those who care. May we encounter patience along our own growing edges and compassion in our most tender spots. May we find encouragement and inspiration from all those who came before as we try to face our own challenges with courage and integrity. In the presence of suffering across the globe, may we redouble our efforts to practice kindness where we are in this present moment, with the hope that even our smallest actions can change the world. May our gestures of compassion and generosity seed possibility as we walk humbly with one another into a better future for ourselves and for those who choose to follow, choosing reconciliation over resentment and love over fear and hate. And when life presses in and shifts us off balance, when pain assails us, when frustration mounts, may the rhythm of our breath steady us and bring us back to this place of love and gratitude. Let us share some silence together. Thank you. In some ways, this past congregational year has been like many others since its founding. We've gathered in community on Sunday mornings and enjoyed our time in worship and our time together in fellowship afterwards. We've had ample opportunities for sharing and learning, for caring. We've done the wonderful job of caring for one another. And we've done a good job serving the wider community. Community committees met and continued to look after the business of the congregation. New people arrived and were welcomed. Some folks moved away. We celebrated the lives of those loved ones we lost, of which there were too many this year. In other ways, it was a remarkable year. We could finally take at least a cautious breath as we emerge more fully from COVID-19 in relatively good shape without having lost any members to the virus, though we know all too well that many have lost friends and family during this time, and that the pandemic continues to loom on the horizon. This emergence has been most evident in the deep need for social connection and the resulting successes of so many of our planned social and musical activities, from First Fridays on the Pavilion to the Pavilion concert series and silent auction. Folks came to events, enjoyed the offerings, and stayed a long time to enjoy each other. The congregation also flourished during the sabbatical time, enjoying many different voices from this lectern last summer, as well as the continued great offerings from Sean and Abby and guests. It's great to have you again, David. And I continue to be grateful to the congregation, to the staff, and the lay leadership for all they did to make that time a success for all of us. A little more than a month after my return to Naples, as you will unfortunately remember, we suffered a significant hurricane when Ian came ashore. And I use the word suffered carefully, fully cognizant that the suffering and the effects of that storm are still being felt here in Naples and especially further north in Lee and Charlotte counties. While we had to do a nice cleanup in our garden and grounds, a few of our members lost homes or access to their homes, and many had major damage as a result of the storm surge. The congregational response from UUCGN was wonderful, both in terms of volunteer hours and financial contributions. And I still think we should hold that up as a wonderful exhibit of how we live our values out in public. But I can also say that we learned some valuable lessons in terms of organization and pastoral response that we can build upon should the need ever arise again. And unfortunately, I think we all know that the need will likely come back at some point. But despite these major upheavals heading into this year and the constant worry about state and local politics and politics at the national level, this congregation has continued to thrive. At the height of season this year, on Sunday mornings, our numbers reached 250, the most since the beginning of 2020 when we were holding double services to accommodate everyone who wanted to be here. Our annual fundraising efforts, despite some early concerns, showed a slight increase from last year, building on that legacy of commitment and generosity that has defined UUCGN from the start. And one of the most exciting developments this year has been the renewed energy in our religious exploration front. The numbers of children and families is growing, as well as a sense of community and exciting possibilities. This year, for the first time in 6 years, we were able to offer Our Whole Lives, the UCC Comprehensive Sexuality Education Curriculum, and we were able to offer that to 6 of our youth while still providing a rich story-based curriculum to our younger age kids. In the coming year, we will be supporting 3 different age groups doing different programs, including another round with OWL, and also Coming of Age, a program that I think you will find very rewarding, not just for our youth, but for the whole congregation. One of the things that I've enjoyed watching this past year is the growing number of affinity groups within the congregation. The Garden Crew is and always has been a great example of this, reveling in the work and in the sense of community among the crew. On Tuesday mornings, it is a wonder to watch them out there planting and weeding and trimming and growing and then gathering out here in fellowship on the pavilion at about 10:30 every Tuesday morning. They have a great spread, I should say. So anybody wanting to do a little work and enjoy that, I hope you'll show up. But I see this sense of a community, this sense of affinity within some of the groups expanding in our congregation. Thinking about the closeness of the hospitality group who are sitting out there right now. Or the choir, that really sense of growing community among the choir members. The weekend meals team. The religious exploration families, as I mentioned, and even within that small group of the drumming circle that show up on almost monthly basis. We are building communities within community. And that is a wonderfully healthy thing for any congregation of our size. When you think back of the ideal of the fellowship model that I spoke about earlier, that sense of closeness that they want to keep going, within a congregation of this size, it is in those affinity groups, those small communities within communities, that we carry on that spirit of fellowship. We have done well this year. It would be impossible for me to list everyone that has contributed to this, as I think you all have. So what I'd like you all to do is stand. Please stand. Everyone, even out there in the pavilion. Give yourself a cheer and a round of applause for an incredible, remarkable year. Doesn't that feel good? Thank you so much. Have a seat. From this place of accomplishment and appreciation, what might we begin to see as possibilities for next year and for the years to come?
On a clear day, rise and look around you, and you'll see who you are. On a clear day, how it will astound you that the glow of your being outshines every star you'll feel part of. Every mountain, sea, and shore, you can hear from far and near a word you've never heard before. And on a clear day, on a clear day, you can see forever and ever and evermore.
Yeah, I wanted that to keep going. Always a good thing. Leave them wanting more, right? One of my favorite essayists is Scott Russell Sanders, who is always circling around the topic of community, no matter whether he's writing about nature or economics or anything else. Sanders writes, "The words community, communion, and communicate all derive from the word common. And the two syllables of common grow from separate roots, the first meaning together or next to, the second having to do with barter or exchange. Embodied in that word is a sense of our shared life as one of giving and receiving. Music, touch, ideas, recipes, stories, tools, the whole range of human artifacts and talents." I think the idea of an ongoing exchange is a good one, as it contains a sense of movement and purpose. It's true, we're all here because we hope to get something from being here, of the experience, and hopefully we leave here refreshed in some way and refueled for the week ahead. But the amazing thing that happens in community is that we gain as much from what we're giving as that which we're receiving. We gain as much from our giving as we do from receiving. As Sanders writes, "The community I desire is not grudging. It is exuberant, joyful, grounded in affection, pleasure, and mutual aid." And this certainly defines, I believe, what we're all about here at the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Greater Naples. Taking part in the common life means dwelling in a web of relationships, the many threads tugging while also holding us upright. Certainly, this web of relations, in and of itself, is a powerful thing, providing each and all with meaning and hope. But where are we being tugged as a community? Where might we be going? In the past, we've had some meaningful conversations, as you might expect of a congregation that has gone through so much change in 48 years. In the very early 2000s, the congregation had conversations about changing the organizational structure to a more programmatic approach, and thus we ended up with what is called a program church, a program centered around the activities of our congregation. In the year just before I arrived, in 2013 and 14, using all congregational meetings, this group of people, this community, created our current mission statement. We are a welcoming congregation freely seeking intellectual and spiritual growth. We strive to create a larger community of peace, justice, and love. 2 years later, taking the mission statement as a starting point, the congregation met first in small group sessions and then in an all-in visioning workshop to create what was called our 2020 vision. That effort identified 3 pillars of our community that we wish to build upon: community building within our physical space, outreach to the wider community, and utilizing and maintaining this plant, these buildings and grounds to support those first 2 goals. We still include the 2020 vision in the welcoming packet that we hand out because it is a solid expression of who we are, who we have been, where we might be going. And then in 2019, just before COVID, we began to work on a vision for 2025. Using the 2020 vision as a guide, the congregation began to formulate a slightly more granular approach, but still with an overarching vision of becoming a beacon of truth to the wider community. Unfortunately, among other things, the pandemic arrived and shut things down, along with any immediate plans and opportunities to develop future planning. Now, if any of you have been doing the math since the beginning of this service, you would have figured out that our congregation is approaching a significant milestone in 2025. Only a year and a half away, we will be celebrating our 50th anniversary. In honor of this occasion, and to complete the work of our 2025 visioning, to consider both the grand and the granular, we are in the process of creating a survey to get your input on the strengths and weaknesses and areas of growth and potential direction for this congregation. We have come a long way since our inception, and we've come even longer way, I think, in a short period in this past year as we've come out of COVID, as we responded well to a hurricane, as we found each other again in community. So what do we aspire to now as we approach the age of 50? How might we best approach that time? What goals might we set? In the late summer, when this survey is ready to be sent out, we hope that each and every one of you will take the opportunity to provide your input, whether you've been here well, we have one member who's been here, whose name is on this, Kathy Magudis, who's still in the Naples community and who still supports the congregation and the pledge drive. But aside from that one, everyone here has arrived here as a new member, as a new person walking in the door for the first time, and everyone's voice, everyone's ideas, everyone's energy is welcome. And so we hope as we put this survey out that everyone will participate and provide their input to what and how this community might approach 50 years old. I will suggest that, as the spiritual writer Marianne Williams has said, that our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. I don't think anybody feels that this congregation is inadequate. On the other hand, our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light and not our darkness that most frightens us. How best do you think this congregation can express the full light of its truth to each other and the world? It's an exciting possibility. We are already what Scott Russell Sanders would call a healthy community, one that is dynamic, inspired by those who came before, stirred up by the energies of those who are here, open to new members and fresh influences, kept in motion by the constant exchange of gifts. This year, the gifts have come in many forms, from the intellectual to the spiritual, and gifts have even come from within the challenges we have faced and in opportunities to express our values both inside these walls and outside into the wider community. We are always in a state of becoming, but now we have the chance to stop and consider what we want to be and how we choose to be with one another as we approach our 50th anniversary. And I look forward to seeing what you all have to say. Quite soon, we will begin to think, or have to think, about how we might want to celebrate that occasion. And won't that be a grand time? As we consider our past and our present and our future, I hope that you will respond generously as we accept the morning's offering.
And I know that everybody knows this song rather well, so feel free to sing along. if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride. If I have faith, you need to borrow, for no one can fill those of your needs that you won't let show. You just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'd understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. You just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'd understand. We all need somebody to lean on. If there is a load you have to bear that you can't carry on, right up the road, I'll share your load. If you just call me, call me, call me, call me, lean on me, lean on me. Call me, call me, call me.
Few announcements. Once again, Janet Hoffman, and I think Janet Hoffman will be here with the ballot initiative to limit government interference in our choices for abortion. So if you haven't already signed that, please talk to her, and I hope that you will sign one of those petitions. A concert this week. Do you want to say anything about that?
Thursday night, Zach Bartholomew Trio in here, 7 o'clock. Steve Espinoza will be selling tickets out there. $20 in advance, $25 at the door. And it's the program is High Priests of Bebop, Bud Powell, and Thelonious Monk tunes, as well as some of the trio's own music. So
Great.
it should be great.
It should be fabulous. All right, thank you very much. I mentioned the Religious Exploration Program, and there's a couple of things. One is that this summer we're hoping to provide some adult accompaniment for any children that show up on Sunday morning. So if anybody here is interested in just one Sunday during the summer volunteering your time to be with our younger kids who are here, then please let me or Stephanie St. John, who's on the pavilion, I believe, know. That'd be great. Promises to be a lot of fun. There'll be prepared materials for you, so please let me know. And as I mentioned, we're hoping this coming year to offer a coming of age program. And that is a program that involves the entire congregation, and we will be looking for individuals in the congregation to be mentors for our individual youth. So it's a one-on-one relationship as you sort of nurture and help grow a young individual in our community as they sort of come to terms with their own spirituality, their own ideas about their life and how they want to live it. So it's a great opportunity not only for them, but for you. So if you're interested in that, just from the words I've said, but there'll be other opportunities, please see Stephanie St. John or myself after the service. Thank you so much. So that said, let's rise in body or spirit and sing our closing hymn, number 163 in the Gray Hymnal, For the Earth Forever Turning.
For the earth forever turning, for the skies for every sea, for our lives, for all we cherish, sing we our joyful song of peace. For the mountains, hills, and pastures in their silent majesty, for the stars, for all the heavens, sing we our joyful song of peace. For the sun, for rain and thunder, for all seasons harmony, for our lives, for all creation, sing we our joyful praise to thee. For the world we raise our voices, for the home that gives us birth. In our joy we sing, returning home to our blue-green hills of earth, to our blue-green hills of earth.
May the blessing of truth be upon us. May the power of love direct and sustain us. And may the peace of this community preserve our going out and our coming in from this time forth until we meet again. Go in peace. Go in love. Have a wonderful day.